Hi.
Hello, how are
How are you
you?
doing?
Doing well. I'm happy to be here and very
Oh,
excited for our conversation today.
we're so excited to have you. So, can you first give us like a little bit of an intro of yourself and your background as a registered dietitian and nutritionist?
Hello everyone just joining us. My name is Jasmine El Nabli. I am a registered dietitian nutritionist and have my master's in nutrition and dietetics from Loma Linda University, as well as have a background in psychology and fitness. So kind of this whole body approach to health and wellness. I currently work at Parentis Health, based in Laguna Hills, California, as their health and wellness center. My mission really is to make research easy to understand, to provide real actionable lifestyle habits to improve your overall health and nutrition, of course. And my wellness journey really started, I would say, back in college. I wasn't always hyper aware of the foods that I was eating at a young age, but over time, I really started to pay more attention about how foods would make me feel. And I realized just day and night the difference when it came to hunger levels, hormone regulation, energy, just feeling good, and saw a really big difference in my skin and my beauty. So that's why it's just been really fun to also incorporate food, which we'll get into a little bit. But my journey started a pretty long time ago, and we're still going strong. So it's an ongoing thing for everyone.
Right, right. I agree. My journey has been like all over the place. I started as well in college, and I was so skeptical at the beginning. I'm like, yeah, I mean, food has something to do with it, but I don't feel like it's like everything. And now I feel like it's such an important topic and matter that honestly more people should be more aware of it. Like everyone should have like a good education about what is good to eat and what to avoid because right now, the world is crazy. And I feel like if we turn back to food as, medicine for our bodies, our skin, everything, it's not really how much it affects us, but it is really
Yeah,
such a big part of it.
food is really, really medicine, and it's
Yeah,
one of the major contributors to, prevention or cause of
right,
disease too. So definitely something that we can begin to control and
right.
use to benefit us.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. And I guess now starting with the topic that it's like so important as we were saying. So here at Isabella's Clearly, we like to focus about what we put on our bodies, but we also know that it's so important what we put in our bodies. And that's where you focus on as a nutritionist and everything. So can you tell us really how does what we eat affect our skin?
Yeah, so there's really no doubt that the foods we choose impacts not only our internal health, our internal beauty, but also our external beauty and health as well. And yes, food is nourishment, it's fuel, it's family, it's culture. There's so many different components to food, but when it comes to our beauty and our skin, food can negatively impact us by causing inflammation, free radical damage, decreased blood flow, wrinkles, age spots, all of these things that we're trying to avoid, of course. But on the other hand, it can positively impact our skin through better hydration, collagen production, that decrease in inflammation, and helping to fight those free radicals. Because if you really think about it, from the moment we wake up, from the moment our feet touch the floor, we get going, we are kind of hit by the elements. We have UV rays from the sun, we have toxins, maybe from products that we're putting onto our bodies. If we're not using Isabella's Clearly, of course. And just pollution, stress, all of these factors can play a huge role and sabotage our beauty. So I really do like to think of food as like a primary contributor to our overall beauty routine. So that's how I like to think of food.
Mhm.
Other than just nourishment, it is definitely kind of like those fun beauty ingredients that we can use to enhance ourselves. again, on the
Right.
inside and outside.
Right. Yeah, I do love that. And I guess one of our biggest concerns, let's say as a teenager and like a young adult, is about acne. And we hear all these things about like sugar and chocolate and dairy being really some of the causes of acne, but really, like, is there some truth behind that, or what do you think? And if they're not, what other foods are really like what's popping out, your breakouts and everything, and that inflammation?
Yeah, that's just such a great question. Like acne is one of the most common skin conditions in the United States. It affects, over 50 million people a year. So we're definitely looking for solutions on how to like better control acne through the foods that we're eating. So you mentioned dairy, sugar as being some of the contributors for acne, and there's some truth to that. So there's research that shows that sugar can be a big cause of acne. Not only is it a contributor to empty calories, but it's a major contributor for advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. And these end products can really break down our collagen and our connective tissue, which can result in blemishes and wrinkles and dull skin. And a lot of the times where this sugar is found is in our processed foods, our baked goods, candy bars, cereal, oatmeal, you name it. My biggest tip is flip over your nutrition facts label and see where the hidden sugar is, because there likely will be some. But the reason, again, also why sugar is an issue is because it can raise your circulating insulin. And same goes for dairy as well. It can also raise your insulin, which can stimulate cell production and inhibit cell death, which in turn promotes inflammation and the development of acne. And for those of you who just don't know the exact, acne is really a skin breakout when the pores become clogged and with dead skin cells or bacteria. So when you're not having, when you're inhibiting that cell death, when you're inhibiting that like regeneration of healthy skin cells, that's when it really becomes an issue. So sugar is definitely one to be aware of when it comes to acne, where it's in your food, as well as dairy for some people. So lactose is the sugar found in dairy, and actually 65% of people are lactose intolerant. So it could be a contributing factor for you. You may not know if you're lactose intolerant, or just maybe have just a little bit of an intolerance. But there's a couple theories when it comes to dairy. One is that there are antibiotics that are given to the cows that can affect the hormones and can in turn affect your hormone levels. So that's one theory. And then the other one, again, is the lactose intolerance. So those are really important to take into consideration. If you're someone who has acne, I always recommend keeping a food journal to see what kind of trends are happening. And this is for like if you have any skin condition. Keeping a food journal, keeping track of what foods you're eating, how your skin is responding, maybe even how your sleep is, can help you start to develop or maybe see some trends that, oh, I think that this food in particular is maybe triggering my skin, or maybe it's making my skin more oily, more prone to getting acne, because everybody's going to be different, right? So it's really important to pay attention to your body, your responses to food, and all of that. And then the last one you mentioned is chocolate. So cocoa or cacao is actually a really powerful antioxidant that can actually block wrinkle formation. But again, it's when we're getting into that added sugar component, right? With all those like processed candy bars and things like that, or even like milk chocolate, white chocolate, which has a lot of sugar. But if you, but cocoa or dark chocolate can actually be beneficial. So look for 72% or above, which would be like a good, I would say, addition to your diet, and kind of avoid the milk chocolate or the white chocolate, I would say. But it all kind of comes back to this like sugar component, which I'm sure we'll talk about again in a little bit. That is such a big one, and I'll go into the recommendations like later about how much we should be having. So
That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, for me, my experience with dairy, I don't consume as much dairy now, but I was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I was having cream with my coffee and I was getting all these breakouts here. And I'm like, I'm eating healthy. What is wrong with me? And it was
Mhm.
only that thing. It wasn't until I changed to oat milk
Mhm.
that it faded away. And I'm like, oh, that's like really one of the things that told me like, oh, really what you eat does affect
Mhm.
your skin, because I was doing like, all my natural skincare and everything and I was still getting breakouts. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. And I didn't even go to a doctor. I just changed my oat milk. And it took a few months for them to go away. But when my skin was clear, I was like, what is happening? So I started going back, like, okay, what am I not eating now? And I'm like, the cream on my coffee. So
Mhm.
yeah, it must have been like full of sugar and hormones and stuff like that. So I'm so happy that I discovered that by accident.
Yeah.
But now,
And
yeah,
and actually, like even the location of where your acne too can
right,
um, determine like if maybe it is more food related, more hormonal related
right.
as
Yeah,
well.
and
Yeah, depending on where
I
your
think,
acne is on your face.
yeah, I did some research and I thought it was like hormonal and I thought it was my hormones. So I
Mhm.
went and got them checked. Everything was fine. And I'm like, what is happening? And it was until that. So that's usually little things like that that turn me into a believer. So after that, I'm like, oh, it does really affect. So I took like my healthy food consuming, like the whole foods and everything, like it took it to another level. Because I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, now I know that this works. I'm just gonna make it all work now. And it was very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess now we talked about acne. What about in terms of aging? As we age, we start getting like drier skin, it's less elastic, it's, I guess, less collagen, all of that. Is there something that we can keep on like eating,
Yeah.
consuming in our diet so that we can, I mean, I know aging, we're gonna get some wrinkles and stuff, but I guess so that we could age more gracefully, is there
Yeah.
like something that we can add to our diet?
So one of the big ones, maybe an obvious one, is water. So it really is estimated that 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated.
Oh,
And, every day we lose water through sweating, through breathing, when we're sleeping, we're losing fluid, perspiring. So if we don't replace it, it's going to leave us at a higher risk of dehydration. And even our skin contains 64% of our water content. So
wow.
it's really important to make sure, one, your skin is hydrated, but making sure that you're getting enough water throughout the day. Our hydration is important for, again, quality of skin. It's important for our sleep. Delivering nutrients throughout our body, also like thinning out our blood. So when we're dehydrated, our blood actually becomes thicker and it can interfere with our temperature regulation and cause like cellular shrinkage. So hydration is so key. Um, for men, the recommendation is about 15 cups of water a day, which is about 3.7 liters. So anywhere between, yeah, I always kind of overestimate. I'm like, try to get in 4 liters a day. And for women, it's about 11 cups per day. So that's 2.7 liters. So I would just say that it's 3, just to err on that side. But that also includes your your beverages and your food. So, and that's what I'm going to get into next. But a really easy way to determine also maybe like what your water recommendation is just take your weight in pounds and divide it by 2 and aim for that many ounces of water per day. So if you're 200 pounds, you would try to aim for 100 ounces of water a day. So that's just kind of an easy way to calculate it. But again, if you're exercising, if you're in a hot climate, right, like you have to take into consideration if you just tend to sweat more, you need to take into consideration all of those things as well. But some people have trouble drinking water, right? But you can do like seltzers, you can do sparkling water, you can infuse your water with fruit is a great way, but you can also hydrate with your foods. So I'll cover some of the top hydrating fruits and top hydrating vegetables. So 3 of the top hydrating fruits would be watermelon, strawberries, and grapefruit. So all of those have or contain over 92% of water. They're mostly water. And then your hydrating vegetables would be more of your iceberg lettuce, cucumber, and celery. So even getting some of these like in a salad or throwing it in a smoothie can help with your hydration. Snacking on it, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can incorporate these foods, but our hydration and the recommended intake we should be having per day isn't just the water we drink, it's also from other things. So as you know, fall is coming, or fall is here, if we're having soups and things like that, that actually also contributes to our water intake. We just need to be careful with things that have like coffee, right? That's going to be dehydrating, or caffeinated teas, as opposed to non-caffeinated teas and beverages like that. So hydration is key, but some other foods that can really help are ones that are rich in vitamin C. So vitamin C is essential for the production of collagen and elastin. So that's what helps keep our skin toned and firm. So vitamin C is really what you want to be having to help with those wrinkles, among other things as well, right? But bell peppers, kiwi, pineapple, strawberries, Brussels sprouts, those are all really great sources of vitamin C. So because vitamin C is essential for that collagen and elastin production.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And yeah, it's a list, but I feel the fruits and veggies, I mean, they're good for everything, right? So it's like just eat the veggies and drink your water and you should be good.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. And do you have any other kind of foods to have healthy skin? What about like nuts or legumes, or I don't know if any of those help for that?
Yeah. So my biggest tip I would say when it comes to like eating for healthy skin is getting a wide variety and a wide variety of colors. So really getting that vibrancy. So every color of a fruit or vegetable corresponds to a different phytochemical and phytonutrient that's going to be beneficial for you to help prevent disease. Like for blueberries, they have anthocyanins. Sweet potato is really rich in vitamin A, which is and has beta carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A. So it's really important to eat like the rainbow of colors when it comes to your nutrition and your beauty, because you're going to be getting the benefits from all those different foods. So some of my favorites, I just mentioned one, is that sweet potato, which has vitamin A, which is essential for cell renewal, repair, keeps your skin like smooth and glowing. So vitamin A. Sweet potato is my favorite. The other one is, of course, vitamin C. We just talked about that, how it's really important for collagen production and elastin to prevent like those wrinkles and blemishes, and keep your skin really toned and firm. So some of my favorites would be like berries in general, and kale as well is high in vitamin C. So I typically always buy, if I get like frozen berries, I always get like a mixed blend of like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, because I'm getting more colors just right there alone. And I'm getting a lot of good nutrition and antioxidants, which are going to help fight those free radicals. The other two that I love, avocado and olive oil, which are rich in vitamin E, which is an antioxidant that can help with that free radical damage that we come across really on a daily basis, that can help keep your skin and your scalp moisturized. And then last but not least, walnuts and flax seeds. So those are going to be good sources of our omega-3s, even salmon, which can really help with hormone regulation and strengthening our cell membrane. So making sure that our cells themselves are really strong and nourished is really important. So those are probably some of my like favorite beauty foods: berries, kale, sweet potato, avocado. olive oil, walnuts, and flax seeds, I would say, are ones that I try to incorporate more regularly. But really, if you, whichever ones you like, incorporate those, because some or a variety of colors is better than none. And even if you're a picky eater, right? Like, let's say you only like zucchini, or let's say you only like bell peppers, right? That's a good example. Bell peppers, we said, is high in vitamin C. And let's say you only like bell peppers. Well, bell peppers come in green, they come in orange, they come in red, and they come in yellow. So just choosing that variety amongst that one food can still give you a wide variety of nutrients and different phytochemicals and phytonutrients. So choose the rainbow of colors, try to get variety. Would be my biggest tip when it comes to beauty. Like, variety and color is key, 100%. 100%.
Okay, and that makes sense. I feel like when I do like a colorful salad, it just looks way better. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just craving it because it looks so good with all the colors. Yes.
It's like a nice reminder of like, oh, my plate is pretty. Like, it will
Right.
also be pretty.
Yeah, and I think I usually now when I'm cooking, I try to do something that's colorful.
Yeah.
Because when I feel like, well, I don't eat meat anymore, or chicken or anything, so it's not really brown on brown. But when I feel like, oh, it's only like looks too orange, I'm gonna drop some green, like, green peas or whatever to make it look more like colorful. And I try to base off of that just because it looks more appetizing to me.
Yeah.
But now that I know that it helps me with like everything else, I'll keep on doing it.
Yeah, you're gonna be like putting every color in.
Right, yeah.
Every meal.
I'm missing my purples. Let me go get some.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there are so many, like, even like fruits, like there's like eggplant and plums. Like, there are so many different like varieties of in every single color. You just gotta look for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. That's cool. And so I feel like we have an idea of what foods to avoid, but can you like tell us?
Yeah.
Confirm?
I'll confirm. I'll make it a dietitian approved. So foods to avoid, I'll talk about 4. Again, we already mentioned the other one a little bit earlier, but I'll name that last. So alcohol is a big one, right? Okay. It's fun to celebrate. It's fun to have a drink once in a while, but it really is a source of empty calories and can disrupt your hormone balance. It can tax your liver if you're over consuming, and it can also affect the blood flow for your skin, especially with that dehydration factor, right? Because alcohol will dehydrate you. So if you've ever woken up like the next day and you're like, wow, my skin is so dull, like I wonder why, the connection is right there. So alcohol definitely can lead to having some like duller skin. And of course, I've gotten the whole, well, what about red wine? I've heard red wine is really great for you. And we know the benefits, right? It's incorporated in the Mediterranean diet. If someone isn't drinking red wine, I wouldn't encourage them to drink alcohol for the health benefits, because where the benefit is coming from is not the alcohol. The benefit is coming from the grapes, because they have an antioxidant called resveratrol. So you can get the same benefits by eating those red grapes or eating raspberries themselves. You don't need to be drinking red wine to get the benefits of that phytochemical. So alcohol is one. Another one, and I think it's National Coffee Day, is caffeine.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's caffeine. So, although like a cup of coffee can help like boost our energy, for many of us, it can also tax your adrenal glands and your stress hormone cortisol, which can add weight to your waistline over time. So, for healthy adults, the FDA recommends no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine per day, which is about 4 to 5 cups of coffee. A cup of coffee has about like 80 milligrams of caffeine. So that recommendation is generally not associated with any adverse effects. However, there are different, we're all different, right? All different genetic profiles. And we can be a fast or slow metabolizer. So that's something, maybe it will stay in your system for longer. Maybe that if you have coffee or caffeine later in the day, you're not going to be able to sleep. And we know how much sleep is important also for our beauty, for just like restorative processes, for metabolism, for hormone regulation, all of these things. Like, sleep is so important. So Caffeine is another big one, right? Because also it can lead to dehydration if we're not being careful. Highly processed foods. So when I think of highly processed foods, I think of things that are non-perishable, and I think of things that are stable or shelf stable, right? They're not going to break down. So if you think about it like that, like we do want our foods to break down, right? We do kind of want our foods to rot, right? Because they're going to go bad eventually. That's kind of like an indicator that it is like real food. So, you know, those highly processed foods usually have like chemicals and additives and fake flavors and processed oils and things like that that can really trigger inflammation in the body. So steering more towards a whole foods diet would be, of course, much more beneficial. And then last but not least, we have sugar. So sugar really is highly addictive. It's, you know, can trigger the same signals in your brain. Ooh, I just dropped you. Sorry about that. It can trigger the same areas in your brain as like cocaine and heroin. So it is highly addictive and can cause inflammation in the body, can lead to the breakdown of collagen as well, which we don't want that to happen because that's what really keeps our skin healthy, our bones, our muscles, our tendons, ligaments, all of that. And really helps our skin stay looking like plump and giving you that youthful look. So if we're having a lot of sugar and we're breaking down our collagen like constantly, if we're always having sugar, that really is a problem for our skin. And just as a note, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day for women and no more than 36 grams of added sugar per day. And as of January 1st, 2020, the added sugar is now listed on the back of a nutrition facts label. So it is required now for companies to list the added sugar, so sugar that they add, into those products. So if you don't know how much sugar you're, you know, consuming every day, you can just keep track of how you're doing that, or even using like an app like MyFitnessPal to just log your food for a day or a week and kind of see on average, all right, how much sugar am I getting in my diet? Where is it coming from? And how can I begin to start decreasing it? I think it's hard for anyone to go cold turkey on anything. So just even decreasing, maybe you're someone who drinks soda, right? And maybe you drink 1 can of soda a day. So maybe your first step would be to have 1 can of soda every other day, or have half a can of soda every single day to start like decreasing that like sugar craving, and your taste buds change over time too. So, you know, the more sugar you have, the more you're going to want because of that addictive nature. So I would say sugar is a huge one. And sugar, alcohol, caffeine, and processed foods. Yeah. Would be the biggest ones.
Okay. We knew. I think we just needed to confirm, but yeah, I know it's been
confirmed. I confirmed it.
Yeah. And I mean, they do. I feel like the good food that you eat doesn't really make an impact like from day to night, but then when you have alcohol, like you wake up the next morning feeling like, oh my God, why do I look like you said, like your skin is so dull and you feel so bad and everything. So I feel like that's really should tell you something like, okay, just like stop, or try to, as you said, like try to decrease your intake of that food or drink or whatever, because that is, I feel like that's the more sustainable way, and you can like make it part of your life instead of just making it like a diet and feeling like constricted, which is not ideal. I feel
you definitely don't want to be like feeling like you're dieting for sure. You want to make it like a lifestyle, and yeah, it was really true. Like once you start eating well and eating like more whole foods and feeling good, when you actually do kind of have something, like if you do have like sugar or some processed foods, you really do, or alcohol, you really do feel it more. Like you really, it's a big difference as opposed to if you were always consuming it. You can't really notice as much like how you feel. So yeah, definitely incorporating those whole foods is key.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so not just we ran out of time. Just like one quick last question. what is, you think, like the best way to start changing our eating habits to make them again more like to eat more healthy and stuff like that? As you said with the soda, those were like, that was a very useful tip, I feel.
Yeah,
Um,
so start small. The best way to start changing your habits is by starting small. Don't try to go again from 0 to 100. Um, it's just not sustainable, right? Like you want to find
mhm,
something that is sustainable for you, that works for your lifestyle. So making those small changes over time and finding changes that you actually really enjoy and foods that you love and that love you back is really
mhm,
important. Um, I like to also think of like, what can I add to my diet as opposed to what
mhm.
can I take away, right? That's like a
Okay.
good starting point for some people, right? Maybe it's getting more fruits and vegetables on your plate, right? And then hopefully in turn, you're feeling a little bit more full and you're going to kind of negate some of those other foods that you might be
Right.
choosing. You're going to be feeling fuller because of that fiber. You're getting more nutrition. Um, so yeah, thinking of what you can add to the diet as opposed to take away. Focusing on nutrient density, like whole foods rather than processed foods, and getting hyper focused on like calories and things like that. Just thinking of like, hey, what is more nutritious? What is going to be better for me? What is going to be better? And if you're someone who just like loves beauty, right? Thinking of it like that, like,
Mhm,
oh, just like
mhm.
if I was going to pick up like a beauty skincare product, like this in a way I have all my beauty skincare products like right in front of me that are actually going to make a difference on the cellular level, going on the internal level. So nutrient density, what foods are going to really serve me. Focusing on balanced meals is really key to help control our blood sugar. So like lean protein sources, fiber, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats. So, trying to really compose a balanced meal with all of these components can help to control our blood sugar, help with our hormone balance, and our hunger and satiety. And then last but not least, I would say to keep a food journal. So if you're someone who does have, again, like some skin issues or just wants to monitor how you're feeling, keeping track of the foods that you're eating, maybe how you feel before, during, and after you eat that food, as well as how your body responds or how your skin is responding, because that way you can really start, maybe finding some of those things that are contributing to poor skin or blemishes for you. But there's other things like wrinkles, like that's like over time, right? So even just thinking
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm going to be choosing this food. I know it's going to be good for me. I know now that vitamin C helps with collagen and elastin production, so I'm going to incorporate more vitamin C foods into my diet. So, yeah, focusing on what you can add, nutrient density, balance, paying attention
Okay.
to what you're eating mindfully, all of these things. And just
Okay.
slowly but surely, doesn't have to
Right.
be
Yeah,
like
that's
from
that.
0 to 100.
Right.
Even
That's a
one
great
thing,
tip.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Amazing. And we have a few questions right here. So let me just read them real quick. One person is asking, what is the best food journal product out there besides MyFitnessPal?
MyFitnessPal. So I actually use MyFitnessPal, but I also you can just like journal on your own. I know there's like a few books, or even like you can go online and write like a food journal
Like
PDF,
template.
or even going
Okay.
on Pinterest or a template, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
can print it out, or you can just make your own. I've made one in the past too that's literally just says like time, food consumed, like how I felt before, during, after, and then like skin. So it really just depends on like what you're looking to track, I would say. But there are some like food journals you can purchase, like Amazon, free PDFs, or just making your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I actually just made my own. Recently, I went with my holistic doctor, and she's like, okay, keep a journal for 2 weeks. And I'm like, that's not gonna help me. And then I started doing it. I'm like, oh my God, I need more protein. So like it really
Yeah.
did help. So, and it was like super simple, literally on like this little notebook right here. That's what I used, and that's what she needed. And she's like, yeah, this is perfect, because I was gonna look for a template, but I just
Uh-huh.
ran out of time, and I'm like, I just don't want to forget my meals. I'll just write them down here. She's like, no, that's perfect, really. It's just you'll start noticing as you start
Yeah.
writing, you're like, oh, I'm missing this, and
Mhm.
maybe I'm missing fiber over here. So it is really helpful, that food journal tip. So I love that. And another question that they put is, can chia seeds help with skin um, issues, like, or skin health?
So chia seeds are just very like nutritious, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
are a good source of those omega 3s as well. So I mean, I think we've heard of like chia seeds in the past as like a superfood. I think everything at some point has been a superfood. They're all great. They all have their own benefits, but chia seeds are definitely like a great addition to your diet. It gives you a little bit of fiber. It can create some bulk in your meals, and it is a good source of those healthy fats as well. So chia seeds are definitely a great addition, and if it's something that you like, and if you're looking for like omega 3, like flaxseed is another really great one. I typically like using ground flaxseed. Because it's just a little bit more bioavailable. It's broken down. You don't have that harder outer coating of that seed. So that's
Okay.
something that you can just easily add to oatmeal or smoothies or anything like that. So,
Oh, that's amazing. Great.
yeah,
Awesome. So I
yeah,
think those are all the questions. So I think, yeah,
perfect.
we went a little bit overboard
No
with our
worries.
live, but Jasmine, thank you so much. This was like so useful. And of course, we're gonna save it on our IGTV, so you'll have it there for anyone that wants to take notes or maybe just like rewatch it one more time. It's gonna be saved there. So thank you, Jasmine, and please follow her as well at Jasmine El Nabli. And you can follow us too, and we'll be having more lives. And hopefully, we can have Jasmine here back so she can just like break some more information for us because we loved it.
Give you all the nutrition facts. No, it was so much
Yes.
fun. I loved being here. I love sharing. I hope everyone listening took some newfound knowledge away, and maybe some tips on how to really become more beautiful inside and out. So yeah,
Right.
thanks for having
Yes.
me. It was so
Thank
fun.
you.
All right.
Thank you,
Bye.
Jasmine. Have a good time. Bye bye.
Bye.